So in this video, I break down this animation that I posted on Twitter.
My name's Miles, and I made over $100,000 in profit my first 10 months selling name brand products on Amazon FBA via online arbitrage. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 keys that help me scale my business fast so you can save tons of time and money and avoid mistakes.
So I just finished editing the video that you're about to watch right now, and just one quick word beforehand, I did not meant to make the tutorial or the breakdown this long. If you are going to watch this whole tutorial, you will 10x your editing skills, your animation skills, because I have shared like basically a lot of knowledge. This is a really detailed breakdown video, and I share you my process from beginning to end. So if you're a beginner, if you are actually more advanced as well, this will just 10x your next animations and your next edits for 100%, like 100%. And yeah, I just took the car for a little spin and just get some drinks. So grab something to eat and enjoy the breakdown. And also let me know if you have learned something new or if you have any more questions. I will answer all the questions that you guys ask me. I have all the resources linked down below in the YouTube description. So if you're looking for them, it's in the YouTube video in the description. And yeah, enjoy the video. I will not only show you the After Effects timeline and the Premiere Pro timeline with the sound design and the effects and all the assets that I used. I will also link you all the files into the description to download completely for free. And with that being said, this post kind of went viral. It is part of one challenge that I'm recording right now, and I will upload soon onto this YouTube channel. You will like the challenge, so I won't spoil it too much. So I recreated an animation and I posted it on Twitter, and I posted the before and after right today morning. So it went kind of viral even without showing the before and after, and I got a lot of positive comments, and also the account that I did this animation for reached out to me. Alright, so this is what the timeline in Premiere Pro looks like. Most of it is basically just sound design. I did all the animations in After Effects and I rendered out the whole clip and I added into my Premiere Pro to add the sound design after that. I will show you now what the video looked like without all the animations and all the sound effects and all the music, of course, as well.
My name's Miles, and I made over $100,000 in profit my first 10 months selling name brand products on Amazon FBA via online arbitrage. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 keys that help me scale my business fast so you can save tons of time and money and avoid mistakes.
So this is basically what the video looked like when I first went ahead and downloaded it from YouTube. I actually just went ahead, clicked on the video, I copied the link and went ahead to Y2 Mate and just pasted it in here and downloaded it in 1080p. So what I did after that is just duplicated this file and I replaced it with an After Effects composition. And if I open up After Effects, you will see this is what it looks like right now. To break down the animations and what the idea was behind all those animations, I have to go back to the drawing board and show you guys how I actually thought about it, what I wanted to animate in the first place. So let me show you what I did. I first went through the video, listened to it, and I wrote down the keywords. Keywords like 100k profit in the first 10 months, and then with name branded products on Amazon and online arbitrage, and then 5 keys to scale. And then we also had save time and money and avoid mistakes. So these were the keywords that I actually just noted down into a notebook. And after having these keywords, I went ahead on YouTube and I just looked up some channels that do have like really high quality animations that are also practical and try to explain what the YouTuber is, telling you. And I just went through a couple videos and I looked up for some inspiration that I could use to edit these keywords. And after going through some of the videos, I came up with a sketch. Basically, this is the sketch here. You can read all these things, but it's mostly just what it's inside the circle here. So this was the sketch. I had the 100k in profit here, and then I had like 10 circles in the middle after that, and then I had Adidas or Nike shoe, and then I also explained it what I wanted to have, like here as well, 10-month calendar. So this was the sketch that I originally had in mind that I wanted to rebuild. And guys, why do you think that I sketched it out? Like, this part is really crucial, especially in the beginning, to sort all the ideas in your mind and also get more efficient in the workflow. Because if you have a sketch and an actually plan laid out in front of you on a notebook or on an iPad or even on your PC in a note app, then you can actually just be more fast because you know, okay, now I have to create a circle, now I have to add the text, and you won't miss any detail, you won't miss it, and you can just more focus on make it more aesthetic. You know what assets you need to get next as well. And after some time, of course, you will get faster and faster at it. And even today, I just still use a note app or a notebook or even my iPad sometimes to sketch out these animations. And I can really just tell you, it is one of the most crucial, effective things to get like your workflow more efficient and also your animations more clean. And after I sketched it out, I knew what transition. I had like a transition in my mind that I wanted to try out. So I had a brand new kind of transition, which I had to learn how to actually properly make in After Effects, which I will show you in a second. So I had the video here at the bottom, main video. So I wanted to have like his face first, and he already had a zoom in, so I did not have to edit his face at all in the beginning. Usually I also just have like a zoom in, but now it was completely fine. And then what I actually added was a ink transitioning. The ink transitioning looks like this. And for this ink transition that I have here, I used to have this tutorial. I just watched this tutorial and just recreated it kind of like with a different ink. And the ink footage I have from this website, the Mix Kit, it's actually free, and I think it's this one. It's this free ink background on a black ink on white background. You can just download it and use it. And for the ink transition, I had two background gradient files. It's actually one file. I just duplicated the composition, and I will also break down how I did the background gradient in a second. And what I did, I had the background gradient on the bottom, then I had the ink transition on top of it, and then I had another background gradient on top of the ink transition. And I linked the bottom background gradient. I don't linked it, I track matted it to the ink transition. And I also turned on this Luma matte and this inverted effect on the matte so that it goes into this black ink. The gradient on top, it's zero opacity on the top. It doesn't activate until this point where I have an opacity that goes from 0 to 100, and it just smoothly just blends in the back, like the ink transition with this background. So it just blends in perfectly. It's duplicated, so it's also aligned, like the gradients are all aligned. It's so smooth. And I would just recommend to do this after you already had the transition going on. So like you already have made this step to have this. And also one crucial thing is always have the visibility for the ink transition turned off, or otherwise you will see this only, right? It's only black and white. So turn it off and then you see it normally. Boom. So how did I did the background gradient? And it's actually pretty easy. So the gradient is a 4-color gradient, and I will show you. I had the 4 points of the gradient just here on the normal spot. Here, 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 here. It's a bright purple color. It's a black color. It's a dark purple, and also another dark purple with a different color spectrum. And then I just went ahead and pulled all of these 4 points out, and then back again, and then out again. So this is all the gradient layer does. And how did I achieve this really clean gradient look? It was by this adjustment layer here, and also we'll show you why I really like it when it's more dark on the gradient, and how you can achieve this as well later on, outside of this adjustment layer. But first of all, let's break down what I did after I added this 4-point gradient keyframe stuff. I just added a motion tile with output width and output height 350, and then I also added a turbulent displacement set to twist amount of 150. I think it's standard, a size of 400. And if you click Alt and Evolution, this window here pull up, and you just type in here time times 200. These settings will make the gradient really smooth, like especially with the 4-point gradient. And then after that, I also added a vignette to make it look more dark especially because like the more dark it is, the white text that I added will just a little bit pop a little bit more, and it also looks a little bit more premium if it's more dark, like especially the background, if it's more dark, it's more premium. And at the end here, set the amount of the vignette to 0. And this is a reason, because set a saturation going from here to here, going from purple to kind of like 0 saturation. And that's because I had a different 3D animations coming in, like the shoes coming in that you saw in the video, which I will also show you in a second. And I set the saturation to 0 because it just looked so much more clean. If I have a purple and a red shoe, or a red box with white shoe, pardon me, coming in, then it's just so weird if I have like a purple background. It just does not look as poppy. The shoe and the shoe box, it just does not pop as good. And also I want to get away from the background and pull the viewer more into the 3D animation. So that's why I just reduced the saturation to 0. And that's why also when I had the vignette here on, it was just way too dark, so you could not really, if I remove this, you will see it's like really dark. Like you probably won't even see the background anymore. And I wanted to see the background, so that's why I actually added the amount to 0. I actually set the amount to 0 because I wanted to have this clean looking background still with the 4-point gradient moving around. And next one is the vignette. I also added a vignette to it because I really like how this looks, especially with the text here, which I will come to in a second. I added the vignette on top of the background gradient, like this one. And this looks just so much more clean with the text if you have like your background really dark. This is what Iman Gadzi does as well. He makes like the background or just basically everything around it with a vignette really dark, so the white text on top of it doesn't even need to have like drop shadow or need glow, because it already looks so clean. So if I remove the deep glow, it already looks like readable. You don't need the drop shadow at all. Like you see, the text, it's like already clean. And without a vignette, I am not really a fan. It's just way too bright still. So yeah, I really like the vignette on it, especially when it's also like dark like this without the 0 saturation. It looks really good. All right, so coming to the text, I have added a slider control effect first of all. Then I actually had this code here, this command here, num is effect. This whole command I can actually put into the description if you want to, or you can just copy it from here. I can also make like a tutorial on how to make these rising numbers, like animations if you want to. I can make a separate, really quick tutorial how to make it as fast as possible with all the resources provided. So if you want to see that, let me know down below. Just write a message down below in the comments, or to me personally, DM on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. What I did is I just pasted here the command. I set this to 0 because it was on default to 2, and this means it has like a 2 at the back, and I don't want to have that. It just doesn't look as aesthetic as it is right now, and I just wanted to make it look clean. And most of you don't really care about those little numbers. It's just distracting. We just want to have like the big number, make all these things just clear, crystal clear in the video, and also center it, of course, because if it's not centered, it does just not look good. It just looks distracting as well. If I would have like the numbers here, it would be distracting, or if I would have the numbers here, it would be distracting. So you want to have it in the middle. This is where the viewers on their phone look into it. They look into the middle. You always want to have everything centered, and the viewers also look on their PCs into the middle, everywhere. It's just so much more clean if it's centered. That's one thing that I wanted to share with you guys, and it's a crucial thing. Okay, it's a crucial thing for animation, centering. Okay, next thing I did once it was done, once I added this command, is I went ahead and added a keyframe to the slider control. Like added keyframe here. I set it to 99,680 because that's the number where I wanted to start. And the next keyframe I set to $110,000. Okay, so why did I do that? It's because he talks about he made 100K in profit. So it's the keyword 100K in profit. this is where our animation starts. And then I set also a keyframe at the very end here to 124 or 28,000. And this just makes it a little bit more aesthetic because the number's still rising. And like after he said he makes 100k profits, I really like that the number is still rising and it continues to increase. Okay, so he said 100k in profit. He did not say like a specific number. He only said like around 100k. Okay, so after I added these keyframes and I set this to easy ease as well. I always easy ease most of my animations because I like how smooth that looks. Once that is, I added a fade up words or fade up characters. Yeah, you will see it. The characters are fading in here. I added this after I finished basically the keyframing and the numberizing effect. I added the fade characters. I wanted them to be like really clean, especially because the back numbers are moving constantly. And also one thing is, if you don't have your words to the left paragraph, like your numbers, when you are having this rising number effect, animation is going to just jitter all the way around here. You're going to fix this by adding it to the left paragraph, and you see it's only like moving, like only the right part is moving. All right, so it's a quick fix to your problem because I saw I had the same problem as well, and I just saw it somewhere in the comments, and I just wanted to help you guys out before you even get to this problem. So always set the paragraph to the left if you have this effect going on, and yeah, then you can center the number. Okay, so now when I did that, I'll also tell you in a second why I did move this down, and I will show you the next part. Are you following along so far? If not, I will actually, answer all the comments down below, or I will also link a Discord down below where you can join the Discord and message me. You can message me on Instagram and Twitter, which I have mentioned like before that as well. It's all in the link in the bio. I just want to help you guys for free right now. And with that being said, I want to add another text, which was in profit. I just want to add this text because many people are like seeing like all these numbers like, oh, I made 7 figures, but it's like revenue. So it's like maybe 30% of it is like actual profit. So it's like we made 100k in profit in 10 months, in the first 10 months that he started his business, which is incredible actually. So shout out to Flips for Miles. So then I added this text, and I also added these text and vignettes, and also the 100k. I track matted it into the ink transition as well. This is like really crucial because my goal was to have like the numbers already rising once he already is like once the transition is already coming in and he's still talking. So I wanted to have these effects actually already popping up. So I needed to track matte these into the transition here, into the ink transition. So I just did this and this. That's it. And then activated this button, and then reverted it. So these, if you can't see these buttons here, you can just toggle switch modes at the bottom here and you will see it. And by the way, all the things I do, I always do add motion blur as well, because I just find it to look more aesthetic and just more pleasing, and the eyes can just follow it better. And I will also show you why I also added these effects later on, so that the animation actually looks more clean and looks more better in my opinion. Okay, so bear in mind, we're gonna break it down step by step. So if you have any questions so far, you can just message me, but I will also break down everything that I actually did. Okay, so with that being said, I added a drop shadow to the text with these settings: 35%, 9% distance, and 47% softness. And this is what it looks. You won't maybe see it like that good in the video, but I thought and I saw it just looked more clean. And then after that, I added Deep Glow effect. And Deep Glow, I think, is one plugin that you have to pay for, but I think this is the best plugin that you can actually pay for. The one plugin that actually matters, that actually adds to the aesthetic way more than any other plugin, because I have this plugin as well. I think Motion Tools Panel 4 is actually free because I only use the centering and this tool here. I can also make a video about the plugins that I use as well, because I have some Premiere Pro plugins as well that I could make a video about. So if you're interested in that, let me know if you're interested. Yeah, so Deep Glow, get it, buy it. It just looks so good. So I always do like a low radius and also low exposure, because if you have like exposure on 100, like on 1%, like on a full one, I would say 100%, then it's like, it looks like this. It looks horrible. So it's like always like small, and max is like around 20 maybe. It's like, just keep it low, keep the radius low as well. I don't overdo it because then it just looks weird. Also, one thing, add chromatic aberrations if you want to, because that's gonna make like a little 3D effect. I'm not sure if you're gonna notice it right now on this one. I can notice it when the video is like playing sometimes, like on different channels. You don't want to overdo it. It makes like a red and blue-ish color to it. It's like a 3D color to it. You know, when you have like those old school 3D glasses on, that's what it's gonna do, and it looks like so clean on white. Like on black and white, it looks so clean, and that's why I add it. So yeah, get deep glow, add it like to your text. And these are the settings that I use for deep glow. Copy and pasted it to the text down here. So this is the in profit text. I have also, I think, yeah, the characters fade in effect, like here that I showed you guys, the fade up characters effect added to it. And then I also have the characters fade out effect added to it. So I just copied this and then just faded it out. So like this. Let me just put it on auto, so it renders better. So this is what it looks like. It just fades out. It's actually just shown for like a good 1 second, okay? It's nothing crazy. It's not like the big deal. It's just like something to read for the eyes, okay? Because he says he made this in profit in the video. So I just thought I'd just add it for a second. And then we also have the positional object, which helps to move these texts down, which I will show in a second, okay? But as I said, everything like until this is tracked, like matte tracked to the ink transition layer. And yeah, then I just blend this text out, and I also added a line. Why a line? Because it just looks more clean for the calendars that I added, okay? So I added a line, and I will actually show you the effects that I added to it. So I added, of course, deep glow to it with the same settings as the text or the numbers. And I go to shape, stroke 1, and if I go to tape, I added 42% start length, and that's it basically, I think. Yeah, it's like a 9 stroke wide, and yeah, that's it basically. And the round cap, of course, it's round cap. I always do round caps because it just looks more clean. And then I went ahead, content, add, and I added the trim path. Here, I'll show you. It goes from 0 to 100, from left to right. And I also added this to the positional object. You can create a null object by clicking right click and then just null object. And the null object is just one, I would say, thing that controls like the positions of many objects. So if you parent link it to this null object, you can create like the position. This is the position, so you can just have like the position go from left to right. I can make a video about null objects if you guys are up to, like how to use the best way and when to use it, and what's the most efficient way to use it in your workflow. So let me know down below, and I can make a video about that. Anything you guys need help with. I added a line because I thought it was just separated really good between like the number that I have on the bottom here and the calendars that I blend in here at the top. And also another thing is always have it centered. You see it's centered. It looks so much more better than if I had my calendars, up here and then the number here and the line here. So always center it. Don't make it look weird, please. If you need help with that, I can make a video about that as well. So for the calendars, I have sub-composition for that as well, which I will break down right now. So I had one calendar made. So it's actually in a lot of sub-compositions, or pre-compositions. Yeah, that's the word I was searching for. But basically, I made a circle, which has a trim path effect to it, this one, and a taper of 50% for the start and the length. I will show you. So I had a taper, which actually helps to make it look more clean. I wanted to have it like a little bit more thick at the top and more thin at the bottom. And to achieve this effect, I used this taper and added 50% to the start and 50% to the length and end length, and then the 35% at the start width, and the end width was also 35%. And then I added the trim path, as I said, so it goes from left to right, it loads in, and in this circle we have an icon, and I pre-compositioned it to add a deep glow to it. You need to pre-composition it, otherwise when I copy this deep glow and add it here, you see it's not looking good. It is because you need to pre-composition it. It's just the way it is, I guess. So I had the position, just an opacity effect on it. So I wanted to kind of like pop up from 0 opacity and then pop up to the top with 100% opacity. So like this. That was the vision in the circle. So when the circle loads, it pops up, and then after that I pre-composition. And I see that I also did the positioning here as well. So yeah, I added double positioning. I'm not sure why I did that. I think that was a mistake. But yeah, I also parented and linked it to the circle. So it's always, lined up with the circle, because that's I would say the main object, more aligned. So when I move the circle, it's also moving. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And also I just deep glow with these settings that you see on the left. And then I just pre-compositioned this, added it 10 times, like I duplicated it 9 times. And also you can just do another motion blur if you want, but you don't need to, because I have usually just turned on at here or in here as well sometimes. Yeah, it's also turned on here. That's what I did. I also added a fill, because outside the fill it was black, just the black icon. So the icon, I got it for free from a website. I don't know where, Icons 8, maybe that's the website's name. So that's where I got the icon from, if you are actually curious. It was free. I did not pay for the icon, and you don't need to pay for icons like this, for animations like this, because you can just make it look so much more clean with some deep glow and some chromatic aberration effect, especially when it's white, as I said. So yeah, that's the calendars, and I just stacked those calendars on top of each other. And I used to have them like come in later on, like let me show you. That's why I use the motion tools panel. I just do this. The animations are like this. You see, they like a staircase. So yeah, I like motion tools for that reason. So I used to have it like this. Yeah, that's one thing on me. I just forget to edit them back, but it looks already clean without adding these effects. So I don't need to add these effects, because I think this looks already clean. So it's not a big issue. And then I just pre-composed it as well, just to, don't have like 8 of these things lined up on the timeline. It just takes up so much space from the timeline. And I did that also for the shoe animation, which I will come to in a second. And yeah, then I have all these 4 things lined up to the positional object. Not the background though. We need the background for the next animation that will break down, like the next step of the animation, which is the shoebox. And I need the background, so I did not line it up. Otherwise, the background would move with the null object's position as well. So with that being said, I moved the positioning down like that. It's not too much. I wanted to have the numbers still visible on the screen. So I darkened the background a little bit, and it was because I wanted to like have the focus on the shoe. So when I have the box coming up, so that people are like, whoa, what's this red object? Everything goes saturation 0. It looks so clean with the white still, like the white calendar icons with the text white, the deep glow, and like also with the gradient in the background moving around. And then we have suddenly a red shoebox popping up. It's like, what's going on? So people are like, oh, whoa. So people will remember this, like, okay, so suddenly something changed. It's so aesthetic, so appealing, especially with the deep glow that I added to the shoebox. Other than that, it would look like this. Then we have this one pop up and the shoe coming out, and I will break down exactly how I did that. If I would have known how much time it takes to play around with this 3 object, if I would have just known, you will never guess how much time it actually took me to actually animate this. It took me a lot of time, and I will explain to you where you can save your time and just if you are working with 3D objects like this. And I'll also show you where you can get this 3D file for free as well. So I talk in the background because I wanted to have the shoe basically in the middle of everything. I just wanted to have it like in focus. People focus on this one. And I also did not want to use the background with the calendars, icons, whatever anymore. So I don't use this anymore. So I was like, okay, let's darken it. And then I will break down the shoebox animation, which I pre-compositioned, which I will tell you already. Going into the shoebox, boom, this is what it looks like. It's a GLB file, and I have them here in the graphics folder. This is the shoebox, and this is the shoe, if I'm not mistaken. These are some other things that I used, and this is the music and some other stuff that I used as well. All right, so I got the shoebox. I actually searched for a shoebox like Nike Shoebox 3D, and this is the first thing that popped up on a Sketchfab website from this dude. And you can just go ahead and just download the 3D model. I think if you download the GLB, you will be always fine for After Effects. You can just drag and drop it into your After Effects. Or you can also use GLTF. I'm not sure about these two other files, but GLB and GLTF should work most of the time. And I just also downloaded the 4K texture size. And for the shoes, I was actually using this one, Nike Air Force 1 shoes, because in Germany, the Nike Air Force is like so popular. And I thought just, that's what most people know. Like, that's what, like, you see, just something you recognize. So you already know what he's talking about. And the white shoe is also just more appealing for the eye as well. It's more clean, especially just white and black. Now you can just free download. I think you just need an account, and yeah, you can just download it for free. Like, there are like so many objects you can download for free. As you see, there's like so many more shoes that they are, or also like t-shirts that they are selling. I had one problem when I was downloading this shoebox and this shoe, because the shoe comes actually with two pairs, but I actually just wanted one pair of shoes showcasing the video. And this whole box, I could not edit this in Cinema 4D. Not Cinema 4D. I could not edit this shoebox in After Effects. So I needed to figure out where can I edit a 3D model file for free. And because I don't have Cinema 4D, I don't have Blender, and I did not want to learn those things because this was a fast project. And I just looked for something you could just drag and drop into a browser and edit it. So I came across a lot of websites. So to edit these two files, I came across one website called Echo 3D. Since then, the website is kind of like lagging for me. The assets will not load, so I probably need to make a new free account. It's completely for free. You have a couple credits left, so if you have like multiple accounts created, I don't think you will ever need to pay for it. So file, you just go to scene editor, file, and then just import, and then just select your file. I recommend you to have like a zip file maybe, and that's where I just went ahead and just removed like the shoe, whatever. Like, I had a shoe here, and then I could just edit basically like the whole shoe as well. You can just like go ahead and just remove stuff as well. That's what I did. First for the shoebox, I removed like the top, and then I removed the bottom, so I could actually have two separate files for the top of the box, for this part of the box, and for the bottom part of the box, so I can actually open up the box on my own in After Effects when I want to. Also, for the second shoe, I just removed it to have just one clean shoe on the screen visible, so I don't have too much going on the screen and people will click off, and to just make it more clean. And that took a long time. So if you do not work with 3D files and just like did not do it at all so far, maybe this tip could have saved you hours and hours, because this took me almost a whole day to figure out. I could not find a solution, and it was like really hard. So what I did, I position, scale, orientation. I, of course, made this 3D layer smart object turned on here, or not smart object, pardon me. It's a 3D layer object. It's turned on for the shoebox, bottom, top, and for the two shoe files that I have here. Why do I have two shoe files? Because once I have basically the shoe coming out, I wanted to have like a line below the shoe going from here to here, like this. And I wanted to have below the shoe, but I have also a black solid layer here that blacks out the shoebox, which I wanted to do. I will show you why I did that in a second, why I blacked out the shoebox here. And I wanted to have it like this, so I needed to duplicate the shoe with Shift, Command, and D. On your Windows keyboard should be Shift, Alt, and D. I'm not sure about that. I just split and duplicated basically it like this. So if I can show you like here, Shift, Command, D, it creates another duplication layer here. And then I just went from being, from have the shoe in the box, like opening the box up, like this is the bottom and this is the top. Going from here, I moved up the box, and let me just show you actually. Just have the box coming up, and also have always added the shine. Let me just show you without the shine. So I had the box bottom coming up, and also have parented the top, like this one, onto, the box bottom, because the box bottom is actually, pulling up, and all the, the top here is doing, the top of the shoebox is doing is just opening up. That's it. Orientation and positioning, keyframes opening up, boom, and then keyframe here, stopping it, and then all I have is just having the shoe going from being in the box, coming out of the box, and being on the left screen. I did not put it too much on the left side. I could have put it here. I decided to go with this one, so I don't have, maybe people are watching on a TV, on a big TV, or watching on the phone, or watching, on this computer screen. They don't want to watch like the completely left side of the screen. They want to stick their eyes into the middle. That's where they have like their attention interrupted by something else or whatever. It's the animation should be always centered and kept like really just more in the middle of the screen, not really too much outside of the screen. Like most of the time, if you want to make it aesthetically appealing, that's what you're gonna go for. Of course, it's not for everything. It's just what I do to make this one simple and aesthetic. Okay, with that being said, I also added a shine to the shoe, but this was more later when I finished the project. That's what I wanted to add. I wanted to add a shine on the box, like when you see the white gradient here going from left to right. Let me just show you. It's this one. It's just a shine effect. It's pretty easy to do. I have a positioning keyframe going from left to right. You see here, it's just a rectangle, and the rectangle has a fill. It has in the middle 100% opacity and white color, and on the outside there is 0% opacity, opacity. And then you just have your toggle mode, like your mode to screen. So it actually, it's not just normal and white. It's actually screen. It just looks more added into on top of the shoebox. Okay, so, and then I also just added the Luma matte stuff here. Like I just selected this one. And then I also added the track mats to the top here, basically. Okay, with that being said, I have two black solids, which I wanted to show you. And these are having opacities. So it's now at 0 opacity, and then it's like 57 opacity, which helps to black out the shoebox. So I can focus more on the logo here as well. Because if it's not blacked out, let me just show you like this. It's like a little bit distracting. It's distracting from the logo here. He's talking about he made this in the first 10 months, and he says he sells name branded products on Amazon. I had to Google what name branded product is, and that's one thing I can like help you guys, new editors out there. You as an editor need to know the niche. So if it's the finance niche, you need to know about, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, about entrepreneurship as in general. Just if you're just watching a lot of videos, you will learn a lot about it. So if you watch like podcasts and videos, you will be fine. If you are into gaming and you edit gaming videos, you are more likely to know what's going on in the game. And if you, let's say you're editing for a strategy game that you never played, and he's talking about something very niche into this, and you just have no clue about it, you will not do a good job. So, or if you have like editing about affiliate marketing and he's saying a bunch of keywords that you don't know about. So I had no clue what name branding products was. I had a kind of like an idea maybe, but I went on his channel and saw like that he explained it in a short, I think. So then I understood it. I was like, okay, what name brand product does he sell? And then he had like Puma slippers on his Twitter page. And I was like, okay, I could either go for Nike or I could go for Adidas or both, or let's also just go for a Nike shoe because that's also a name branded product. And I think he talked about that as well in a video on his YouTube page. Basically, I just figured out, okay, what is he talking about? And then, okay, how can I explain this easily and make it really aesthetic? And also, I had in mind to blow his mind away, kind of like from these editing styles. I wanted to showcase what I can do. Like, this is not only learning what I can do and practicing what I can do and teaching what I can do, it's also showcasing what I can do to the whole world on my Twitter page, to potential clients, to potential people I can mentor or help, editing with. It's just so important for me to blow people's mind away, not only explain this concept in a good manner, but also in a really, really aesthetic manner. And I will come back to this because I can help you out in actually doing it on your own as well. So not only by watching this video, but also by what I'm going to tell later on in this tutorial. But going back, that's why I went and blacked out basically the shoebox. So there's this line going from left to right with a trim path effect. So it goes from left to right, boom, like left to right. And I have added a dash onto the stroke. And I did this actually with this pen tool. I just painted it like this. Not painted, pardon me, but I just draw it out like this. I could show you like this. And then I just clicked option. And then I just kind of like did this. And I just moved it around like I wanted to have it. Of course, you need to turn off the fill one and turn on the stroke and set it to white. And you can adjust the pixels after that. And you see, you can adjust this here. So that's how I create these shape layers. And then I just added some 46 dash to it to have this, this small pieces in here. If you see, I can have like smaller dashes or 0 dashes at all. But I want to make it look clean, so 46 is what I went for. And then I added an offset keyframe on the dash, in the dash section. And that's what's gonna do is, it's gonna move this from left to right. So it's gonna move these right pieces. As you see, it's slowly fading out. But this does not matter because I have a Amazon logo coming here, like you see here. So you won't even notice it, like that it fades out. It just goes from left to right, and it just showcase that you sell these products onto Amazon. Like he says Amazon FBA, of course, but there's no Amazon FBA logo. There's nothing like a showcase except the Amazon logo. And I was actually searching for, and I wasted a lot of time searching for an Amazon 3D model. And I just figured out I could just, blend in like the 2D model and just have it like 3D floating in, which I will show you in a second how I did that, as you saw in the video. But yeah, then I have like the shoe on top of it. So the line is actually below the shoe. So it's not on top of it, it's actually below the shoe. And then I also added a shine, which I had on the top of the box. I also added it to the shoe going from left to right, as you see. Boom. Just a little bit more clean. And I also added like a shine sound effect, which I will show you later on. So boom, boom. I will close this one down here now. And once that is done, as I said, I added the Amazon logo. And what I did here is I will go into the Amazon logo. I pre-composed this as well. That's what it looked like before that. I have a shine to the Amazon logo added as well. It's really subtle. It's really just visible in the orange because the logo is white, so you won't see it at all, probably. But I just thought maybe that would have looked cool. And I could not edit the better way. It was just possible this way. So yeah, I have it marked as a 3D file here, like a 3D layer. And then I just had an opacity to 0. And then it's just floated in. That's it. Like 0 opacity, and it just floated in. That's it. That was the end position, and that was the coming in position. And one thing, a feedback to myself, I am not the best with keyframes yet. I have to learn more about keyframes on my own as well. So once I have figured out the best way, I can also make a video about it, because I want to nail down the keyframes as well, because I was spending literally just hours on the shoebox 3D animation. Especially with these 3D things, it's like easy to mess it up and make it look really, really messed up and not clean at all. And I did that and it did not look good. So I changed a lot of times. I changed it up a lot of times. So I will make a video about keyframes once I am actually really, really good at it. I'm not bad at it. Don't get me wrong. I just want to get more better at it and more efficient with it as well. So I can explain it to people and help them to save time as well. We'll figure out what I can do to learn this the best and most fastest way. And then I learn it and then I will show you guys how you can do it as well. So just blend this one in, and I have a shape layer actually here. I need to explain this one real quick. I wanted to, how should I say? I cannot explain it the best way. It's a fill gradient, as you can see. It's a gradient, linear gradient. Here it's black, here it's white. And I track matted the pre-composition of this Amazon logo to it because I wanted to have it not visible here. I thought it would look more clean if it's like coming in from here, like having this black effect here, and with the opacity combined on the Amazon logo, then you just have it coming in from here like this, and it looked way more clean. And I just had to track mate it onto the fill, to the shape layer with the fill gradient or a linear gradient, and then actually just activate the Lumamate mate. Also, I added a deep glow to the Amazon logo and the drop shadow as well. I don't think the drop shadow is really much needed, but I thought it would just look so much more clean. So I did that, and yeah, that's what it looks like. You can see a little bit like shine as well. So yeah, after that, have this background here. Let me just look it up because someone asked me about the backgrounds on Twitter. And yeah, someone asked me about the purple background. I'll also show you the blue background. This thing I already have it like made in other projects because I have like a lot more projects in this, like there's like way more stuff in this file as well, which I will remove, of course, because otherwise the file would be too big. So yeah, but you will get this file, guys, no worries. I would just remove like basically all the stuff before that. This background is like basically just a black solid color for the background, and then I added two kind of like adjustment layers on top of it. I added a grid on here. Let me just show you. There's a mask on it as well. Like as you see, there's a mask on this adjustment layer as well. I have a vignette on it, a grid, and a CC lens. This is the settings for the grid. You can just copy the anchor point, and you can copy the corners, and the border is just 5 centimeters. We really want to just have like a subtle effect, like a subtle grid effect, and then just 9% opacity on, it's a white grid. And then blending mode to add. This is really crucial. If you don't have the blending mode to add, you will have this one. You will have it black. Then I added a CC lens to it as well, that sometimes it moves, sometimes I just like to have it static. I just had it static now. Without the lens, you see it just helps to make this effect here. All right? So you don't have to add it if you don't want to. I just thought this looks a little bit more clean, so that's why I added it. And then I have a vignette on it just to make it more dark and just more subtle. And of course I have a mask as well added to this adjustment layer. And then on top of it I have the colors. So it's always, added, like these adjustment layers are added always. And I added a gradient ramp to it as well sometimes, but I like the full color gradient sometimes as well. So it comes down to what you want more like, because you can also just do this and then add it below this, and then just have like as much blend in as you want. So you can use a gradient ramp if you want to, but I used full color gradient here. I added these 4 colors, more blue, like more bluish blue, and then here more like greenish blue here on the top. And then blend 100%, jitter 0%, and opacity is 70%. I can have like 100% opacity, but I thought, why not just make it a little bit more dark, because I am gonna add, either way, I will add like some more vignettes to it as well, like here with the colors, to make it more like subtle. It's really just subtle stuff. It doesn't require to add you the vignettes. I just thought I would add it. I think I messed this one a little bit up because it should come like this. But I added a vignette after that as well, so it doesn't make too much sense to add a vignette. But if you want to recreate this one-to-one, just know you can do this as well. Like, just add this one as well. And then blending mode to add. And this is crucial to have it like also, otherwise it looks like this. So yeah, always look at what I did to achieve it. Every single setting matters. I wanted to achieve like a blueprint with this second design. And this is what I did. I just blended it in. I just had like pre-compositioned all the things I showed you. And I just kind of like slid it up. I used the flow thing here to slide it up the most best way. It's like this. That's what it looks like. It's fast first, whoops, and then it's just slow. So it just kind of like creates like a paper slide up effect. So once I have the background slid up here, I can now finally begin to plan like the second part of the animation, because the first part was with the shoe and the Amazon logo, and the second part he's talking about 5 keys to help to scale, save time and money, and avoid mistakes. So I was like, okay, I need to have 5 boxes that showcase that he's talking about 5 things now. So I was again looking for some inspiration, and after that I came up with a screenshot, and after I just had some like brainstorming, I came down with this sketching here. I had like these trapeze icons here with numbers in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 5 keys. And then I had scaling, I had save time and save money in like boxes down below, and also have a title on top here as well. So this was the sketch that I was looking to recreate, and I wanted to have like a blueprint background, like a bluish blueprint background. Okay, so yeah, I also had a different idea as well. Like if I wanted to go like all in, I would have like made an AI animation. I can also make a video about AI animations, because I think AI animations are like the fastest way to have your video quality upgraded by 1000%. When I say 1000%, if you make it good and aesthetic and make the right AI picture choices, then you can actually upgrade your video by 1000% aesthetically and quality wise. So what I had sketched up was this one here as well, where I can have like a blueprint on a desk, have a top-down shot and a guy sitting here, and then here a laptop where the account balance goes up. Like, and then on the blueprint here, we have 5 actual keys laying on the blueprint with some text that we zoom in, of course. And I have like all these sketches explained up here. Would have done that, but that would have took me like so much longer. And if you want to go all in on an intro or a hook on your video, I would actually just, recommend it to do it, of course. But now I was like, okay, this is a 15-second video. I want the people to see what I can do, and I can do it. It would just take me so much time. So I might just upload this and do it in another project. I kind of like did the 80-20% rule. So I did 20% of the work for 80% of the results. And of course you can go ahead and have like this perfectionism mindset. Where I was like, okay, let me just make it more simple, so I can just finish this video project, because it was already taking me so long. And yeah, so that's why I did not choose to do this AI kind of like shot and choose to do this instead. So first, after I show you now the background, first what I did that is I added a vignette to make it more dark and look really cool and kind of like mysterious as well. Like I like this, black, like not black, but this darkish color to it. And I added a vignette going from little amount to, 100% amount. And I parented this one to the blueprint as well, to the blueprint background. So it is actually like kind of like a part of it, because if I did not add it to it, then it would like apply to the background. So always parent and link to it. Like I did not add the arrow until later on. What I did first was I did this assets here, these trapeze that I showed you right now. I added this arrow and this mistake later on, once I finished like these assets, and I was like, okay, something is missing, something is not looking good. What could I add to the video, like to the animation? So we'll show you guys this one later on. So going into the assets, boom, and I will also break down the thing that I talked about, what I added also on top of this as well to make it look really, really clean and look like all is blending into one animation the better way. So yeah, but first of all, I will show you guys how I made the trapeze and use the pen tool, made like this 4 squares and just, yeah, made this trapeze thing. And then I just added like a trim path to it. And I also, if you see at the bottom here on the right, I added this round cap to it as well. And then, as I said, a trim path going from top, bottom, and back to the top again, closing in, boom. And then I added a deep glow to it to make it like really, really appealing and good. And don't forget to also turn on the chromatic aberration for the white color to have, like, as I said, this 3D effect. What I did, I forgot to turn it on, so I had to go back and edit like the one and the shape layer, like the trapeze layer here, and edit manually one by one for all the duplicated assets here and for these as well. So don't be like me, don't forget it. If you do, it is what it is. It just takes 1 minute to change it, but it's like, you know, hustle. So yeah, then I added the positioning. So I had this number just positioning come up, and then opacity from 0 to 100% just pop up kind of like this, like up and then back down, like kind of like this. Boom, it pops up and then goes into this place. It's kind of like going to the top a little bit more and then just coming down here. It looks really clean. I like it. I did not plan to do like this, that it pops up and down. It just kind of like created it somehow on its own. And then I did this staircase kind of here, so I had it not blend in the same time, but kind of like delayed. That was the word I was looking for, delayed. And I just duplicated it and then just added 2, 3, 4, 5 to it. Yeah, this looked really clean. I tested it a little bit different, like positioning as well, but this one looked the most cleanest and looked the best suiting for buttons, I would say, I would call it, but it's more like rectangles. This is what looked best on these rectangles, like this lining up here. And also added a shine on top of this text here as well. If you're, I will break down the text on the top as well, because as you see, there's like a little gradient on this as well. But yeah, what I also did was I had this stroke here for the trapeze before I forget. It's like more white and less white on here. It's because I had less opacity. It's like 38% opacity on the bottom here. It's still white, but it's less opacity because I planned to add these buttons on the bottom here. So I was like, okay, this looks so clean. Let me just also like have like white and then less white, or just less opacity on the bottom of these trapeze. All easy stuff, guys, no worries. And you can recreate this as well, like easy peasy. This one is the first box scale. I just had a box made here, and I turned up the roundness to 35%, and I also removed the stroke, and I had these also like rounded up, even though I said I removed the stroke. I had round cap on it as well, so it doesn't really matter. And then I also wanted to keep it all in caps, like the text all in caps, and I did not add anything to the text. Pretty much it just black text on a white background kind of. So yeah, and then I had it pre-compositioned like everything, and then I also did the same as with the numbers here. I had them pop up and opacity pop up as well. Then I also added a shine to all these boxes as well. So I had these delayed pop up when he says scaling, save time, save money. I had all these things then pop up. And then for the title, I added a mask actually to it. If you see, I had a mask to it, and I had the mask, actually the mask path is like this, from going from top to the like expanding. I changed it, that's why it looks so weird, but I just wanted to go from top to bottom, boom, like this, and just reveal the text, because I also had the text positioning here down at the whole bottom here. Text, that's the red one here, it pops up and the mask pops down, so kind of looks weird maybe, but I liked it at the end, so I just kept it that way. Added deep glow. I just turned off the drop shadow because I just was like, okay, deep glow is enough with these settings, like 6 exposure, 87 radius. Don't go high at all. It's just a title. It's nothing special. And then I also added a shine to it as well. If you see, boom, like a shine, because it looks so clean. I think like the shine just makes it like really clean. It's like a small, really quick ad, especially like a copy and paste ad to make it look really clean. Like if you see, it's like so cool. Kind of like, it reminds me of kind of like when you have like pulling out the swords, like the ninja swords, and then you just, have like these shines on the swords going from top to bottom or from bottom to the top. So yeah, that's what I did to make it look like this. And there's nothing else added, pretty much just deep glow to all these things. And then I also was like, okay, I do not like the positioning here, because there's like, that's what it looked like, and so less space like here, but so much space at the bottom. So I did not like the centering at all. And if I bring down the title, it just looks so weird. And if I bring down these boxes, it looks weird. So what could I do? He said avoid mistakes, and I did not add these keywords at all. So I was like, okay, I saw like people have these custom made arrows. So what I did is I added two shapes. First was like this line here, going from here all the way to here. And then I also added this little hood here, whatever it is, like these two lines here, to make an arrow. And I had just a trim path going in. And one thing I changed about the trim path was when I do the trim path, I had two shapes. So I turned on individually, and then I just moved the shape 1, which is the line, and the shape 2 to the bottom. So first the shape 1 loads. As you see, the shape 2 is not loading because it's loading individually, like all the shapes. And then once the line is loaded, the top is loading in. And this happens in less than a second, I think. So it's not really visible. It looks actually really clean. And I made it red. I just wanted to break the pattern. So I made it red, and I added a deep glow to it with subtle additions as well. So yeah, it's really subtle. And then I added this text, avoid mistakes, with character fade up. Yeah, it was character fade up. I was just looking at it. So I just faded up the characters. It was a white text, added deep glow to it, turned off the drop shadow because I didn't like it. And for these assets as well, I parented them to the background, to this blueprint background here, to this blueprint background. So when I'm moving this background up, I already had these animations starting. So it's not like a blank paper like this. Other than that, people just were like, okay, where's the animation? Like, what is it? This like, So I was like, okay, let's just make it smooth and then have like all the animations while it's, positioning up, like while it's sliding up, have these already loading in. So people are like, okay, that's the next one. That's the next one. So like they cannot click off. So yeah. Then I have like this beautiful arrow, avoid mistakes. When he says avoid mistakes. And until that, it looks like this. And then it looks like this at the end. Final thing is the effects on the top. And the effects on the top are like, that's the one thing that makes it like so clean. Because otherwise, maybe the shoe is like, animated like roughly, like the 3D file is like roughly animated. But with like these 4 effects here, you can make it like look more appealing, aesthetic. So I will show you what I added. And first thing I added was, I had all these things already from different files, like all these different compositions, different projects already made. So I already knew what I was doing. So yeah, adjustment layer. And then I had a turbulent displace with amount 2 and size 20. And posturous time with random 6 added. If you click here, Alt here, you can add this command. And then just duplicate the command and edit the size and amount to 8 on the second one. And then you add posturous time and make it 12. Because posturous time, what it's going to do is, let me just make it to auto. It's so smooth because it's 60 frames per second, as you see. And if you add posturous time, it's going to add less frames. It's just going to like remove frames. It's just going to be 12 frames per second. And you might ask, okay, why is that good? Actually, people can actually like process it in their brain, because if it's 60 FPS all the time, when you're animating it, it looks smooth, it looks good, you're like, okay, now it looks good. But if people are watching like a video, that's not the same as when you're fully there with your brain and working on this project. It's just more processable for the brain, and that's why it looks like better on animations only, of course, not on camera. On camera it looks horrible, but on animations it's perfect. And then I added noise HLS auto, and this is just basically grain, which you see here, like all these grains. If you have like full, you will see there's like this grain here, this particles, and I set this noise to grain and lightness to 1.5. You don't need too much. Grain size to 0.5, so 0.5, and then noise animation speed to 24. And that's it basically. That's the animation on its own. All the stuff that I did in After Effects, that's it all. And then I just added basically, I just rendered it out in After Effects like this, exported, added render queue, and I just selected the folder that I want to have it in, and then I added it into my timeline. Although I have this After Effects on my timeline, it's just easier if you have like the video rendered out. It's just easier to showcase to you guys, and it's also easier to work on when I'm editing the audio. So all these things that I added was later on once I finished the animation. So what I did also was add this line screen effect overlay. And if you can see on your device now, these subtle lines here, let me show you actually. These white lines here, these screen lines, what you see here. So there is no lines, and this is with lines. And this is with subtle lines. This looks like so much more clean, and I just added like a kind of like a transitioning to have like these things like showcased on the screen. Because let me just show you. If you look at it, if you have like this really cool purple, gradient coming in with the really popping purple color. Purple showcases luxury, so I was like, what can make it more look aesthetic? It's like a effect, like a screen effect. This looks so clean. I saw it in a different guy's animation. I was like, hey, I have this effect actually, and just add it to my like animations. And I forgot to add it in After Effects, so I added it into Premiere Pro after. Oh, I have a package coming. Like, I just got my package delivered. It's a new keyboard. I will unbox this very soon and make a video about it maybe as well. And also make a setup tour if you guys are interested. But yeah, that's what I did. I forgot to edit in After Effects, so I went back before I rendered it and added it into Premiere Pro. Added a screen blend mode on it and just changed the opacity from 0 to 32. And then I was like looking for music. So I went to Artlist and I just listened through a couple of mysterious and ambience music. Let me show you. So I was like mysterious, and then genre is like ambient. And I found this music, the Labyrinth. I just downloaded like the free sample. And I just used it because it was like just Twitter and just showcasing it. And yeah, that's what this music sounds like. I didn't want to spend too much time on this because it's a smart project, but I wanted to have like something that could be a potential hook music. Potential is the keyword here. So yeah, and then I also just went ahead and added like effects for whoosh effects, or when we had like something dragging down, sliding down, or I had some transition effects for like the ink transitioning like this. And here as well, some ink transitioning effects, some numbers counting effects, like number counting sound effects, like still going on and then just fading out slowly. We had I added some more ambience music as well, like sound effects as well for the calendars when they appeared. And we had this box coming up. Then I had a glinster effect, like an impact glinster sound effect. And a whoosh sound as well, like a whoosh front. And the whoosh front again for the Amazon logo blending in. And a cloak sound. Like I have all these sound effects in that I bought for like in this folder, and I always just, once I'm finished up with all the editing, then I'm gonna add the sound design once I added all the music. So yeah, that's when I drag it into my files, and this is what I added for this little line here. And then we also have a little shine effect for the shoe that you can see when it's like shiny. Like, and I added these shine little effect and animations. Then I have these sounds for the slide up. I had this whoosh effect, whoosh middle, and then I added some pack noises for these 5, things that appeared here. I was like, what can I add? Like, this sound is like so clean. It's like so subtle, but it's like makes it like so appealing for your ears when you hear it. You see? And then also another shine effect again here. Like here, I also added another shine effect for the text, and also like glitch incoming sound for the text once it's appeared here, once it was revealed. And then we have these 2 effects, and these 3 effects where we have like some subtle like whooshes, whoosh deep bass for when these boxes appear. And then at the end we have these 2 sounds, like kind of like a sign, it's kind of like a drawing sound, which you draw on a blueprint, That's what it sounds like. This is a sign, I guess a cardboard sign sound effect. So yeah. And this one is click through for the text. It just was like so aesthetic to listen to it when I edited it and it was finished, and I just rewatched it. It was so aesthetic to hear. And yeah, that's when I also added the lines here, the line screen effect. And after that, I just rendered it out, both of them, like the animated one and before. I just added it into here, and then have like a background, before and after text, drop shadows, and then have like a before and after effect as well. If you are, also want to showcase your work on social media, that's what I did. Just copy and pasted it here and have it in the same Premiere profile as well. And that was basically how I edited it. Okay, peace, bye.